What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with you all, going through the latest Broncos trade rumors, the trade buzz out there surrounding Bradley Chubb, Jeudy, and KJ Hamler, and some other names to get through because the Broncos need to nail the trade deadline. Specifically, good old George Paton right here. I mean, the guy was getting sized for a statue before week one after landing Russell Wilson and hiring what appeared to be a great head coach in Nathaniel Hackett. And both those moves he made solely himself have been big flops. So he has got to hit the trade deadline out of the park and make some good moves to position this team to have a successful future after this season, which is going to be, I think, just a disaster for the remaining season, to be brutally honest with you guys here. Now, Adam Schefter earlier this week tweeted out that the Broncos have received multiple trade inquiries about star defensive end Bradley Chubb, wide receivers Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler, sources telling ESPN. Other teams believe that the Broncos will not sell low in any deal. And I don't mind that right there, right? The Broncos know that they've got a great player in Bradley Chubb, know that they have a lot of potential in Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, so they're not going to give them away for a 4th or a 5th round pick. Or I hope. So let's start with Bradley Chubb and the latest buzz out there on the former 1st round pick, number 5 from NC State. Because Bradley Chubb has been fan-freaking-tastic this year. He must have watched all of my videos about talking about trading him around the draft and had big motivation. I am the center of his dartboard. I really do believe so. But Dov putting this out on Twitter earlier today, I thought it was pretty interesting. Broncos top pass rusher Bradley Chubb will be traded likely by Tuesday if Denver loses to the Jaguars on week 8, according to Mike Florio. Are you seriously telling me that George Paton will make a decision on whether or not to trade Bradley Chubb based on how week 8 in London against the Jags go? Are you freaking joking? No, there is no way that George Paton is going to sit on his couch. No, he's definitely flying to London. Get into his booth, watch this game, and if Brandon McManus sinks a game-winning field goal, he goes, "Well, we're not trading Chubb anymore." No, there is no way it'll come down to that. This will be a huge trade that would send potentially a 1st-round pick to Denver. Those types of trades do not get influenced by just one singular game that could make you 3-5 so that you finish second to last in the AFC instead of last behind the Texans or whatever it is. Now, I want to run through some notes here I have on the trade rumors surrounding Chubb because they are reportedly taking calls like Adam Schefter pointed out. And anytime you have a player entering the last year of their contract, it makes it that much easier to trade. Now, with Denver at 2-5, I believe they should and will become sellers at the deadline. They should not hold on to a handful of players that either A, don't have a future with the team, or B, would be a bigger asset as bringing in a draft pick in which you don't have a 1st or a 2nd. Now, Bradley Chubb has been great this season so far. In fact, take his numbers from 2019, 2020, and 2021, 3 seasons on the left, and compare it to what he's done in just 7 games this year. I mean, he's almost past his sack number, in which he played 25 games over those 3 seasons versus just 7 this year. He's right there on pace for tackles for loss, and he's matched his forced fumble count. Bradley Chubb has been great this year, and that's why I think if you can get a 1st-rounder for him, I'm in. And here's why. It's not so much because he's entering the last year of his deal. If Paton wants to keep him, put him on a franchise tag. But here is why I think you should trade Bradley Chubb for a 1st. What's a better combination? Randy Gregory and Baron Browning plus a 1st-round pick that would hopefully be used on an offensive lineman next year, or Chubb on a franchise tag, Gregory and Browning, and still a bad offensive line. Which one of those 2 options would you take? Get the 1st-rounder, get an offensive lineman, and you still have great edge rushers in Gregory and Browning. So with that, here are 5 trade destinations I want to run through. The Eagles, whenever you got a team that's 6-0, like the Rams last year, they showed there's no such thing as too much pass rushers. So maybe the Eagles can make some sense. Same for the Rams. I think the Dolphins are a team to watch for. The Jets, they show that they're not going to back down. They made a trade just yesterday for James Robinson. And then the Arizona Cardinals, I think the Cardinals could make some sense because they have continued to try and draft defensively, and they're not very good at it. So maybe just go get some proven talent for a first-round pick that you probably would have used on a defensive end anyway. But I want to zero in on one of these 5 teams specifically. What about the Philadelphia Eagles? Apparently, the Eagles have been active in trying to get Brian Burns. They were active in trying to get Christian McCaffrey. Clearly, Howie Roseman over in the city of brotherly love is not sitting on his hands. He wants to make some more moves. And remember, Philly has 2 first-round picks coming up. Remember when they made that trade with the Saints so New Orleans could get Trevor Penning and Chris Olave in the first round? Well, the Eagles would still have a first round of their own and give up the Saints first rounder to Denver. Now, would you do this trade? Simple as can be. The Broncos get a first-round pick. The Eagles get Bradley Chubb. It would be very important to know whose first-round pick. Would it be the Eagles' first-round pick, which will be in the 20s? Or would it be the Saints' first-round pick that would likely be in the teens or even 10 or better? Very important to watch for right there. All right, next player on the trade market is Jerry Jeudy. Another first-round pick that is not in the same boat as Bradley Chubb, but I want to start this conversation off with 3 letters. Y-E-S. Yes, I would trade Jerry Jeudy tomorrow. I didn't think I'd be saying that before the season, but Jerry Jeudy is not on track to get his 5th-year option picked up, and this team needs more than just a mediocre / borderline bust of a wide receiver 2 that was picked in the first round, 15th overall, to do more than this, to put up more than 386 yards. Now, it's not all on Jerry Jeudy. Russell Wilson has been extremely underwhelming. But the whole point of drafting someone in the first round is that when they enter years 2 and year 3, they're supposed to fix the ship, right what's wrong, and make everyone else around them better. That's why you get those guys in the first round. Not so that in year 2 and 3, you create excuses for them and say, well, they've got a bad quarterback. That's true for players drafted later. First round talent is supposed to make everything around them that's not working start to work. And that's not happening right now with Jerry Jeudy. Now, the Broncos only have 5 picks in the upcoming draft. We have looked at this graphic how many times, guys? A bazillion times. No first or second round pick, 2 third-round picks. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Broncos to try and get another day 2 pick. You're not getting a first for Jeudy, but get another day 2 pick where this team needs a lot more help than just a wide receiver who is probably not going to be here if he stays after his 4th year on his contract. So here are 4 teams I think that could be in the market for a wide receiver or Jerry Jeudy. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers is very upset. Speaking to the media today, he's like, hey, we got to start sitting players that suck. So I think he's calling out his wide receivers. The Baltimore Ravens, they've just never had a good wide receiver. So I could see them trying to make a push and give Lamar some more weapons. The Tennessee Titans, Robert Woods is their top guy, and that's not been a pretty movie so far. Well, what about the New York Giants? A team that's 6-1 and has no one Daniel Jones can throw to, right? Kenny Golladay sucks. Kadarius Toney's always hurt. Wan'Dale Robinson is a rookie. So maybe the New York Giants could be in the mix. I'm going to zero in on the Green Bay Packers, though. Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers are 3-4. They are not where they expected to be right now. And clearly the plan of build a great defense, have a really good run game, and Aaron Rodgers and the wide receivers will take care of the rest isn't working. Allen Lazard is not a wide receiver 1. So maybe Jeudy to Green Bay would make a lot of sense for both sides. A second rounder goes to Denver. So now the Broncos have a second and 2/3 to play with in the draft. And the Packers get a legit wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. Now we talked about 2 of the higher profile guys today. And I want to get your guys, thoughts and takes on this. Pick a trade. The Jerry Jeudy trade or the Bradley Chubb trade. Just put the number of the jersey you would like to see that player get traded based on the 2 trades we ran through earlier. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and do so for a couple good reasons I got for you guys. 1, all of our content, all of our videos here is completely free. It is no cost to you whatsoever to just click on the subscribe button. Also, the more subscribers we get, the more watch parties we can do with the channel. We've had a couple watch parties over the last few weeks, and if you want to be in a frustrated space where all of us Broncos fans can bang our hands on the table and go, what the hell is going on? Well, this is the channel for you. 864 subs away from reaching 11,000 here on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. All right, next candidate to watch for is KJ Hamler. Going off that Adam Schefter Twitter thread right there. KJ Hamler, a former second-round pick, same year as Jerry Jeudy, has simply not worked out. And it's unfortunate because KJ Hamler is 5'10", 5'11", and he runs super duper fast straight down the line. The issue is when that is your biggest capability and you suffer a horrible ACL and hip injury, it makes you a bit dimensional in what can you do for us right now. So when you look at this wide receiver depth chart, I know the Broncos want to see more of players like Brandon Johnson, for example, who they just signed after having that waived with injury designation, whatever. Unfortunately for KJ Hamler, the injuries have sucked. Right? That's just a fact of the matter. KJ Hamler was a speedy guy, and when you have an ACL injury and a hip injury in year 2 of your career, that is not going to put you on a good track. Now, I don't really know what you're going to find for a player who's got those injuries already in his career in terms of draft compensation. I don't know if Paton is dying to move on from Hamler for any amount, which he is for the next guy we're going to talk about. So if someone's going to offer him a 7th-round pick, I think at that point, it's worth holding on to Hamler and seeing if he can turn the corner and make it like a 2-year recovery. And next year, he can really look like the Penn State Nittany Lion that he was. If a team is like, you know what, we are desperate for a wide receiver and we'll give you a 4th-round pick for Hamler, I'm in. Now, I'm also in on this awesome hoodie right now. Found this at Fanatics. I wanted to share it with you guys. Head on over to chatsports.com/Broncos hoodie. I'll put that link in the comments and the description of today's show. This is the top 5 hoodie. Producer Patrick Seaman, is this not one of the freshest hoodies you're going to find out there? It's getting cold. It's getting chilly out there. And if you want to rep your Broncos gear, I know it's not an easy time to show your fandom, but hey, don't be a coward. Don't just go to the closet and get out your basic North Face jacket, no free ads, because you don't want to be a real fan. No. Get yourself an awesome Broncos hoodie on sale. Chatsports.com/Broncos hoodie. 4th and final trade player on the trade market for Denver. It is Albert Okwuegbunam. Just get it done. This is over, right? Albert Okwuegbunam has been a healthy scratch for 2 straight weeks after Greg Dulcich came off of IR, and there is no point of keeping him on this roster. He is not even, like I said, active on game days, and he is buried on this depth chart. They clearly like both the Erics and Dulcich over Okwuegbunam, so just get him off the screen, right? Get him off this roster. Get what you can. At this point, you can go full-on, semi-pro, Jackie Moon mode, and just get a washing machine. Ask him just anything, right? It is fill in the blank for Albert O. A 2024 7th-round pick, done. Because he's not going to be on this team next year. You don't get healthy scratched in the middle of the season when you came in as the starter and stick around after that. That's just not going to happen. So for that reason, I'll take anything for Albert Okwuegbunam. All right, here we go. Before I sign off and let you guys know, I want to ask this question here. If I do a Week 8 watch party, Broncos Jags, 7:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Central, will you be tuning in? Type me if so. We've had a lot of success with these watch parties the last couple of weeks. We had one for the Colts game, the Chargers game. If you want one to happen this week, because remember, the game is going to be on ESPN Plus and only ESPN Plus. So if you don't have that, but you still want to be able to know what's going on over across the pond, you can tune into our watch party. But I got to get a show of hands. I got to see who would be joining. So type me down below in the comments. I appreciate all of you guys for clicking on to today's episode of the Broncos Breakdown. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to see you guys later with more Broncos news and rumors.